And welcome back, everyone. This is Radio Free Market, and I am your host, Michael McKay, and with me is Dr. Benjamin Powell, and we're talking about better off stateless in Somalia. And our special commentator, Drew Yelm, is now with us. He unfortunately missed the first portion of our show due to a technical difficulty, but now he's with us, and so I want to welcome you to the show, Drew, and I want to throw the next question to you that I know you've been looking forward to asking Dr. Powell. Please go ahead.
Dr. Powell, how you doing?
Great. Glad you can join us, Drew. What's up?
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm able to get in here too. I was listening to you and Michael go back and forth, and I really kind of thought that maybe we should just, kind of think this out and, figure out how this legal system works. So, say, for example, Michael and I are in the same tribe, and he steals one of my goats. Who punishes him? Who runs the jails when there is actually no government at all?
Well, interestingly, Drew, there's no jails at all either. So this is the key with a restitution-based legal system, is that rather than punishing people, you try to compensate the victims, and that compensation is itself the punishment. Because funny thing about jails, no one benefits when someone's stuck in there, and in fact, the victims and the society end up paying the cost of keeping people there. So pretty much in all customary systems where you don't have a government running it, you don't see a jail. So then who punishes you is you're obligated to pay a fine based off the customary legal system to the victim. But if you're unable or unwilling to pay it, then your kind of social insurance group, so an extended order based off of your paternal great-grandfather, unless you've changed groups, which we can discuss later, is obligated to pay for you. And after they pay, then it's up to them to enforce this with you, to try to recollect payment from you, or if they give you other social sanctions and exclusion, they might do that as well. And ultimately, if you continue to be a nuisance and get them in trouble where they have to pay for you, they can declare you out of their group, or essentially they declare you an outlaw. And outlaw is not something you want to be, because it literally means outside the law.
And so really it means, I'm going to interrupt you right here, Ben, would it be correct to phrase it that when you're an outlaw, you're outside the protection of the law? In other words, the law is there really to protect society, and so to be within the law is a premium that people really understand.
Yes. So once you are outside the protection of the law, anybody can do what they wish to you, steal from you, maim you, kill you, what have you. So that usually would mean outlaws don't get to hang around society. They got to run away. And potentially they could try to join another group, but if another group knows they've been outlawed because they're a continual nuisance, they won't have you. So that is what the ultimate enforcement of this system is the threat of exclusion from the protection of the legal system.
And before we go back to Somalia, because I know Drew has a follow-up question on this, this concept is ancient and pervasive in multiple cultures?
Yes, you see this in ancient Ireland. Outlawry in traditional English law was common. Ancient Ireland have it. This is something that's popped up in numerous societies throughout history.
Wow, very interesting. So, Drew, please go ahead.
Well, just going on with these judgments, who are the elders or the leaders that decide the punishments? And say for example, there's a bad punishment made. What happens in the event that, or what prevents there to be from any sort of bad decisions being made?
I'm sorry. Say that again, Drew. A bad what being made?
What prevents there from it being bad decisions being made by the elders?
So, of course, any elder or judge, for that matter, is fallible and can make mistakes. Here, the community holds them to, have they upheld the community norms of, once they've decided the facts of the case, have they made a decision along with community custom? If they haven't, they lose their reputation as being a good elder or a good judge, and people will turn to other elders in the community or the clan to adjudicate their disputes instead. So rather than having a monopoly court that you must use, it's more like arbitration and mediation, where you pick an arbitrator based on their knowledge of business practice in your industry. So it's ultimately their reputation that keeps them in office or as the elder, and when their reputation's harmed, people move beyond them.
And you said these payments or these decisions are based on customary norms. Who did what is the punishment for stealing or assault? Do you have any, I guess, basic knowledge about how that's decided?
Yeah, so the payments are basically, traditionally they're specified in livestock, but in practice they do it in money. And it's well specified right down to penalties for murder. There's differences in rates for old people versus younger people, males versus females, to if you've maimed somebody's arm in a dispute. If you've stolen the livestock, generally you owe back what you stole plus another one. So it's all spelled out in what would be the DIA payment code.
Very interesting. And so that would be called case law, I guess.
Yeah, it's not that radically different from law that we've experienced in the past in the United States and inherited. The particulars are different and conform to the individual situation there, but the idea of the law being something that's discovered through a bottom-up process, contrasted with the way Hayek did with legislation, something that's top-down from your rulers, is common throughout history. The law is there to be discovered.
Well, we're going to come back in just a minute, folks, and when we come back, we're going to ask Dr. Powell how disputes are handled between competing clans and competing legal traditions and clan traditions. So please stay with us. This is Radio Free Market, and I'm your host, Michael McKay, and we'll be back in just a minute, so please stay with us.